Previously on Kenshi. Welcome back, guys. You know, we've come a long way. mOnke and WEgore started off their lives as small-town detectives seeking to expose the abuse in slave camps. But that quickly turned into them actually becoming slaves, which meant they had to escape. But like most people who get out of jail, they struggled to find the real job, which meant they were reduced to stealing just to make ends meet until eventually they could build the base you see here today. But even as successful business owners that have been turned into honest people, they continued to be harassed and mistreated because of their poor background. This meant that we had to take down our bullies, which is why we destroyed the Holy Nation. But this still wasn't enough. People were asking us to pay taxes, so we destroyed them too. At which point, mOnke and WEgore had become a little power hungry, honestly, and began to capture anybody and everybody that they could find, to include killing even harmless animals. However, that still wasn't enough for them. There's one man left who hasn't been dealt with. A man who supposedly used to be the ultimate ruler of Kenshi, which is the title that mOnke and WEgore have begun to strive for. That's why today, the plan is to take his head and sit in his throne. But first, we must prepare. We'll need to build new factories that can let us double our clothing output, and we'll need to start skinning more people than we've ever skinned before just to make some trench coats. We'll also need to triple our weapon output, ensuring that we can arm up our warriors with the greatest weapons any man has ever crafted. And lastly, we'll need to address our increasing number of paraplegics by increasing our robot limb production, mechanizing our army to survive anything that could come their way. Once we've done that, we're going to need to plot our route. This battle is going to take place all the way in the southeast corner of the map, which unfortunately is the complete opposite side of the map from us. Just making it there in one piece is going to be hard enough as is. First, we'll have to pass through Hang, which shouldn't be too bad, but I have made some enemies of the Traders Guild, and some of them still hang out around there. After that, we'll have to pick either left or right. To the left, we have the Eye and Venge, both locations known for the massive laser beam that comes down from the sky with the potential of erasing your people from existence. And to the right, we have Gut, Storm Gap Coast, and the Unwanted Zone, which are all known for being inhabited by beak things, as well as other creatures that you don't want to cross paths with. Stobe's Gamble shouldn't be too bad since we took out Tin Fist and the Anti-Slavers, however it is still heavily patrolled by guerrillas. After that, you begin to reach the outer edge of the Ashlands, passing through the Sniper Valley, which is inhabited by sniper robots that can kill you from miles away. After that is the Sonorous Dark, which was previously inhabited by the Skin Bandits until we kidnapped their leader and put him in jail. However, there's still a chance that some of them remain in that area. Finally, after all of that, we can enter the Ashlands and make our way towards the boss.
We are screwed.
But honestly, in Kenshi, nothing ever goes according to plan. Either way, we got into battle formation for the last time, assembling the greatest warriors that have ever lived to embark on their final journey. Leaving base, we headed past Hang with no issue, headed towards Gut. I liked our odds of fighting off beak things more than our odds of getting blazed by the giant eyeball from the sky. And not even 5 minutes into the journey, we're immediately reminded of why we're doing this. Because people like this guy discriminate against us slaves and try to capture us and sell us back into slavery. But obviously, he had no chance. After that, we entered Gut itself and ran into a ton of beak things, where we did have some injuries, and it began to make me question my decision. But we pushed on and entered Storm Gap Coast, walking past the city of Brink, a city that's owned by the United Cities and actually hates us, but luckily didn't notice us walking by. We got to see some crabs and gorillas on the way to Stobe's Gamble, where we eventually ran into some land bats who thought they could take us on. Shortly after, we entered Sniper Valley, where, to no surprise, we were attacked by multiple snipers. Luckily, they don't really travel in packs, so we could dispense of them pretty easily before moving on to the Sonorous Dark. Luckily, we didn't have too much trouble here, but I did get to watch a gorilla lose a fight to a leviathan before almost getting hit by lightning. Once you enter the Ashlands, it's important to tread lightly, as there are hundreds of security spiders scattered around. Most of them are deactivated. However, real ones can occasionally hide amongst them and catch you off guard, potentially resulting in the loss of a limb.
So hard for the money. Always something money. Come on, give me lots of money.
Now there's an employee, Smithers.
Game over.
Even if you manage to avoid the spiders, there are also many legions of robot thralls led by commanders that report back to cat-lon directly with the goal of keeping us out. Luckily, we didn't run into these armies and we were able to make our way deeper into the Ashlands, where we eventually found ourselves at the front door of the Mad Cat-lon. Upon entering his home, he'll regale you with a tale of the before times, where he explains that he used to be a good leader actually, but humans were the problem, and the ones that ruined everything. Now, as a human, mOnke obviously took offense to this and began the assault. Unfortunately, cat-lon has an army of thralls that come to his rescue, which meant that we very quickly became very outmatched. Cat-lon's sword can incapacitate you or even kill you with a single blow, and with everyone distracted by the guards that he called into the room, he was wiping my people out one by one. The war raged on for a long time. Despite being outnumbered, our warriors were hardy, and they weren't the type to give up without a fight. We pushed back as much as we could, but cat-lon continued to sweep through, defeating anyone in his path, until he met our greatest warrior, WEgore's own brother. The previous villain turned hero took on cat-lon entirely by himself, matching strike for strike, but even he too fell eventually. I began to think that maybe no one was strong enough to defeat cat-lon. However, he was becoming more and more of a porcupine over time, and he seemed to eventually succumb to all the arrows. Fittingly, WEgore got his revenge by ripping out cat-lon's brain, but it was too late. Looking at the carnage of this fight, nobody won.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
It's the war. War never changes.
A quarter of our squad had been killed in the battle, and dozens of robots had been killed too, to include cat-lon, who maybe hadn't been so crazy after all. I mean, what he said was right. Humans grow in numbers and then become dangerous. I mean, why were we even here in the first place? Why did we have to kill this old man who already lived in exile? Why did we kill the nobles of the United Cities? What did we become? Here we were capturing bounties of criminals, meanwhile mOnke and WEgore have an almost $100,000 bounty combined for their own crimes. And now they were responsible for the deaths of their own comrades. I couldn't let things keep going on this way. They would have to be treated just like the rest. I was blinded by their innocent and humble beginnings that I never even realized how power-hungry they had become. Cat-lon was right about us, and it's the most I could do to make it up to him and everyone else that we have wronged by officially admitting mOnke and WEgore as prisoners of Alcatraz Island, where they will spend the rest of their days rotting away. It makes me sad to see them in jail, but it's the right thing to do. Thank you to everyone who's been following the series. I really hope that you enjoyed watching it as much as I did making it, and let me know in the comments what other games or ideas you'd like to see, and I hope you have a good day.